Thanks for being with us here on CBS News Chicago. I'm Marisa Vedra, and I am joined by the host of Tough as Nails, Phil Kogan. Phil, hello and good morning from New Zealand. It's nice to talk to you all the way here in Chicago.
I love Chicago. I don't know if you know this, but there's a direct flight from Chicago to New Zealand now. It's a new flight. So if you feel like visiting,
Don't
right
tempt
here.
me with a vacation. I'll take you up on that. You are wearing many hats with this show. For those who don't know Tough as Nails, you are not only hosting, but you're executive producing. You have played a big role in making this show possible. I'm curious for you why it was important for you to highlight the working class community in the way that you are, which is really not something we've seen in this way on television before.
Yeah, certainly not a competition show on network primetime television where so-called ordinary people, real people in real life who are real tough have been celebrated. I think, big motivation for me is I come from working class people. Very proud of my family history, coal miners, gold miners, farmers. My grandfather was a mechanic, an aero mechanic in World War II. My grandfather was a carpenter, uncles are carpenters. My grandmother worked in a factory, so very humble beginnings in my family. And I've always been very proud of those people in my family who have been so good with their life skills, working with their hands. And it just sort of irked me that there's so much focus on people who have gone to university who are celebrated, and rightly so, by the way. This is not a dig at anybody who gets a higher education, because I really believe in education and its power and all of that. It's nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that there are also some really highly skilled, well-educated people who have got their education out on construction sites and on the farm, and who can fix anything. And so this show is really about saying, hey, yes, it's important to have somebody who's going to be operating on your brain go to school and figure out exactly how to do that. But it's also important that when you're building a house, or that if you've got anything that needs to operate safely, bridges that we have to drive on, roads that we drive on, buildings that we go into, etc., that they're also made well. And so this is a celebration of those hardworking men and women who get up every day before the sun comes up to milk the cows, to keep things functioning. And particularly during the pandemic, they were the ones that just kept going in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, wiping down the shelves to make sure the grocery stores are stocked, and they're driving trucks and they're making things happen. This is a show about celebrating those people, so-called ordinary people, who I quite frankly think are pretty extraordinary.
And you're absolutely right. They make our world go round. In this fourth season, what can we expect, or are there any moments that you think will stand out to the audience that'll be really memorable?
Well, every season it's about getting the right cast. And I think, going into a fourth season, what's been great about getting the opportunity to do the show for a fourth time is you get better. Our team are better at doing what we do. We've executed the format better. And then the more people hear about the show, the more people are applying for the show. The more people apply, the more choices you have. So I just love the different backgrounds that we have. We have people who are aged everywhere from 22 all the way up to 58, from all different walks of life. And one of my favorite moments in the whole show is where everybody turns up to the starting line. They've seen each other, but they don't know what each other does. And they introduce themselves to each other and to America and to the audience, and they tell their stories. And it's one of the favorite moments for me. I always get goosebumps, because I'm like, yes, this is amazing that we get to tell Renee's story. Renee, who they call Highlighter because she's all in pink, and she started her own construction business, and she reached her 5-year goals in 5 months, and who's just won an award recently. Or Alima, who worked in hospitality and then lost her job during the pandemic and then got into construction. These are survivors in terms of just making sure that they do the right thing by their family, put food on the table, because they just figure out a way to get it done. And it's representative of that spirit that I love. I originally come from New Zealand, but I love in Americans, it's like, just get it done no matter what. And so for me, the 12 people that we've chosen, they all epitomize that. They represent that. Ellery, who's 58, who served our country for decades, and the United States military, and is now a firefighter in New York. And so these are people who are, deserving of being celebrated on a show like Tough as Nails.
Well, and we thank you for sharing their stories with us that we get to enjoy and watch them do some incredible work. Phil Kogan, host of Tough as Nails, executive producer, thank you for chatting with us. We look forward to watching tonight on CBS. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.